Let's play Pecan Valley Golf Course in Fort Worth. All right, hole one here at Pecan Valley in Fort Worth, about a 350-yard hole one. You can see the flag straight away, trees on the right and left, lots of room to keep it in the middle. Just go right at this thing, no trouble anywhere with bunkers or anything, just go right at it, keep it in the middle, should be good to go. 125 yards out on this first hole. Go right at this green, nothing around this green of any trouble. You've got the trees hanging over on the left, and other than that, wide open. Go right at it, right at that green. Here's a look at the green on one, about a 26-yarder back to front. This thing is pretty simple and flat, moves from the backside just slightly down and to the left a little bit. You've got water out there on the left, so that's where it wants to run. So here's a look at your hole one green. Okay, here's a 375-yard par 4, hole 2, number 1 handicap. It's dogleg left. You've got about 220 to the turn there, and you can see out this way your flag. Lots of water to fight over on this one. There's your look, hole 2 tee box. All right, here's a look at our approach coming in, about 150 out. You can see you've got water over this hole. The only danger you've got here is that water, and then you've got a lot of green to work with, a lot of area on the back side, the right and left side. Just can't be short into the water. But here's your look at your approach on 2. Let's take a look at hole 2 green. Pretty small, tight little postage stamp, about a 22-yarder back to front. This thing goes back side to front side, of course, toward the water right here that separates that fairway and the green right here. So here's your look at your hole 2 green. Okay, hole 3 here, about a 545-yard par 5 uphill straightaway. You get out of bounds here on the left side with the street. There's a fence on that, just left of that tree, or just this whole line here is left. If you're gonna miss right. Any slicers out there, this is your hole to be safe. There's your line straight up the hill. Just tree trouble on either side is about your only issue. Here's a look at our approach coming in, about 200 out at this point. It's a little farther up, but this pretty much looks the same from even back about 100 yards. It still looks up. We can see up over the hill. You can see the flag straight away. No trouble around it, just too long and long left is the only issue there, but there is your flag straight away, 200 out from this point. All right, here's a look at the green on 3, about a 24-yarder back to front. This thing moves from the back right side to the front left side and then back down here toward the fairway. There is a green side bunker here on the left that I didn't tell you about on your approach, but it's pretty far off of the green. There's a good look at your hole 3 green. All right, here we are at hole 4. It's a 505-yard par 5 straight away. It just angles slightly to the right. Right about that way is your flag. Your line is gonna be this tree straight ahead. Wide open fairway to work with, just a little trouble left with trees and right with trees, but you can punch out of those pretty easily. Here's your look at your hole 4 fairway. All right, here's the look. We're still about 270 out, 250 out roughly. Your line is gonna be straight through that tree. Your green is gonna be on this right side, pretty much following the cart path. Here's your look at your approach coming in on this par 5. Here's a look at hole 4 green, about a 30-yarder back to front. Lots of movement everywhere on this hole. The flag today is at a high point on the back left side. Back of this hole is pretty high. Comes down just a little bit toward the front, but there's a lot of arrows, a lot of movement on this green. All right, here's hole 5. It's a 189-yard, 190 par 3 over water. Big green to work with here. You can miss pretty much anywhere around this green, even short. Just got to get over this water. To carry the water is about 100, so the water should not even be in play. But here's your look from this par 3, hole 5 tee box. Here's a look at the green here on this par 3, hole 5. About a 30-yarder back to front. It's got a lot of back right side to front left side movement, and ultimately comes back down to this front right side. Again, not much to worry about around this green. Lots of place for error here, even back short, long way back to the water. So here's your look at your green on this par 3. All right, here we are at hole 6, 375-yard par 4 straightaway. The only trouble here is how tight this fairway is. You got a lot of trees on both sides. It's pretty short, so feel free, you could lay up here with something a little more accurate on your shots. So there's a look at the hole. Again, straight at it, just a tight window. All right, here we are, 150 out. Again, not much trouble around that green from the middle of the fairway from this point. I laid up with a 3-iron, so it's a good look in coming in on your approach shot here on hole 6. Go right at it. All right, another 30-yarder on this green, this hole 6 green. Lots of movement all over the place. It's pretty tall on the backside. This right side you can see is somewhat elevated and kicks down to the left overall, but there's a lot of arrows, a lot of undulation, lots of movement all over this green. As you look at your hole 6 green. Hole 7, another par 3, long par 3 over water, playing about 192. Straight ahead is your green. Lots of room to miss around that green except for short. Looks like there may be a greenside bunker there on the left. I'll confirm that when I get up there. There's your look at your shot on hole 7. Okay, here's a look at that par 3, hole 7 green. Another 30-yarder. They're pretty much averaging about 30 yards each. This movement, as you probably figured out, is back to front, all back here toward the water. It separates kind of the fairway of this par 3, if you will, is that water. So a lot of backside to front side movement. You can see high side on the back and coming straight down. A few arrows here and there, but overall it's pretty straightforward. As you look at your par 3, 7 green. Okay, here's hole 8. It's a short par 4, 332 yards from the blue tees back here. Pretty tight window, a lot of trees to deal with. Big tree in your way, kind of preventing you from going driver unless you can hit a hard cut here. Trees on the left side, kind of right in your vision. You can see the flag straight away this direction. You got about 220 to the edge of these trees in the middle of your fairway. Your play is probably about a 200 club right at that direction. All right, here's our approach coming in on 8. About 100 yards out from this point, you've got a bunker here on your left. You got a bunker on the right. The left one's a little more front-sided. The right one's a little more even with the green. Not too much room to miss here. You can't go left too much. You can be short right toward the cart path, but that's about it. There's your look at your approach on 8. All right, let's take a look at this green. About a 30-yarder front to back on this short par 4. Lots of movement coming from the backside to the front side. Left side bunker there, right side bunker, pretty beat up bunkers. You don't have to play in those, probably just pull them out. But there's a look at your green on this short par 4. All right, here we are, hole 9, par 4, 353 yard, dog leg left. A lot of trees in your way from going driver. Your line's got to be straight ahead this direction. 220 to the middle of that fairway is pretty much where you want to be before it turns left. Probably get away with 230. Anything longer than that, you might go into those trees out there. But here's your look, your tee box on 9. Here's a look at the turn on this dog leg left, hole 9, this par 4. About 130 yards in. Got a front flag today, so it could be playing around 120. There's your look at your approach coming in. You've got a greenside bunker on the right, maybe what used to be a greenside bunker. But you just can't miss left. It opens up over there on the other side of that green, but just watch for those overhanging trees coming in. There's your shot on this hole 9. Hole 9 green, lots of undulation on this hole, on this green. There's movement topside, slants all over the place, high points there in the back. You can see overall lots of movement. Check your arrows, check your slopes, and check all your angles. It's moving all over the place. There's your look at your hole 9 green. Okay, here's hole 10, 380 yard par 4. Straight away, it angles to the left a little bit, so it gets a little tricky. If you hit one dead straight, you'll be in the trees punching out. Big tree here on the left, kind of blocking you from going right at the flag. You can see the flag straight ahead this direction. So a nice little draw would work well for you if you're a righty. Let's look at the approach here on 10, about 120 out, right at that green. No trouble around it, just go right at it. If you miss long, you're in trouble, but anywhere short, right, left, and front, you are good. Go right at that thing. Hole 10 green, about a 25 yarder back to front. This thing's got a lot of movement all over the place too. High point, backside, little high point, front left. Just check all of your undulation when you get here and look at it. Just a good look at your hole 10 green. This is another par 3, hole 11. This one's playing about 170 today from the blue tees. Check out these trees overhanging this tee box. Right up front, and then you got trees right in your line. There's your flag today. You got a blue flag, so it's in the back of the screen. You know the greens are going to be small. They're only looking like 30 yards by 30, so not a lot to work with. Lots of room to miss, no trouble. Just trees to fight with. A lot of shot shaping needed, maybe. But here's your look at your tee box on 11. All right, here's a look at that par 3 green on 11. About a 33 yarder back to front. This thing's got a lot of movement from that left side over to the right. You see all the undulation right here on the front and even the back movement, and then coming back down this direction toward the fairway. There's your look at your 11 par 3 green. Okay, here was a look at hole 12, 506 yard par 5, slight dogleg right. Pretty wide open fairway, a little tree trouble on both sides, but nothing that you just can't punch out of, especially with this par 5, you should be okay. You can see these guys down here, that's pretty much your line over that corner. There's your line coming in on this par 5. Okay, after our drive, we are about 240 yards out from the middle of the fairway here. There's a look at your green on your approach. You can lay it up or get there in 2. Not too much trouble around that green, lots of room. Go right at it. Here's a look at the hole 12 green. About a 36 yarder back to front. Lots of high points on this thing. High point there in the middle right side, high point in the middle left side. Back a little more elevated. Runs off the back left side. Today there's a front red flag and it wants to run right back down toward the fairway. But here's your look at your hole 12 green. All right, this hole 13, playing 387, this par 4. Just a slight dog leg left, just curls around this fairway a little bit. You got trees there on the left. right through that. You can see the flag waving. Lots of fairway, of course, lots of trees this direction. If you go straight, you're in trouble. There's pretty much your line out this way toward the cart path. You can draw it in, you're good for a righty. Cut it with a lefty. There's your look from the blue tee box here at 13. Here's looking at the approach here. It's about 170 yards out. Pretty straightforward, slightly uphill, no issues. Go right at it. White flag, middle of the green today. No trouble anywhere, just get it. Okay, here's the green on 13, about a 28 yarder back to front. This one's a pretty simple movement on this one. It's pretty flat overall. You got a little bit of minimal movement coming off this front left side and the back right corner where the flag is today. Other than that, pretty smooth coming back down this way toward the fairway. There's your look at your 13 green. All right, here we are at hole 14, 431 yard par 4. Pretty long par 4 for this course. Again, straight down the fairway. Tree trouble, of course, all around the fairway. Left side is really tough looking. Right side, if you get a little too deep over there on the right side, it gets a little hairy. Try to keep it middle. There's your look from the blue tee box here on 14. Here's a look at the approach coming in on this long par 4. I'm looking at about 195 out. They're right there at the green. Not too much trouble around it. Few tall trees kind of hanging over. Lots of room to miss around here. No trouble around that green. Just go right at that thing full send. All right, the green on 14, about a 30 yarder back to front. This thing is pretty straightforward. It goes back to front on the movement. High point there on the front right side, kind of the middle right side. It's high, so it really rolls off once it come back down this direction. Overall, here's your look at your 14 green. All right, here's a look at hole 15, 511 yard par 5, dogleg right. Your line is just gonna be this tree line just to the left of it. Just take it over those trees. Follow that cart path right down to the bottom. This is pretty much your line. Anything too much left gets pretty short on you. Looking at about 240 there on the left side, so keep it just a little bit right. You should be good to go. All right, here's a look in. Still 220 out from this point. You've got water in between the fairway and the green. But here's your look at your shot coming in. You could either lay up to the water, which is gonna be about 160 right there to the edge. So if you wanna lay up, play it short, you're good. But there's your look at your approach coming in. All right, here's the green on 15, about a 22 yarder front to back. It's pretty straightforward. This thing goes from the back of that green straight down, of course, right to the water. There's your look at your 15 green. All right, here's a look at hole 16, another par 3. This one's the shortest one, number 18 handicap on the course. About 150 yarder. Not too much trouble anywhere around that green. You've got water and brush here right in the middle of the fairway of this, in between the tee box and the green. Not too much trouble. It's not really in play. Lots of room to miss around that green. Just go right at it. Here's a look at the par 3 green, about a 25 yarder back to front. It goes from back right to front left, all down there toward the water. Pretty straightforward movement, runs just right this way. There's your look at your green on this par 3. Okay, here's a look at hole 17, blue tee box, 390 yard par 4. You're looking at about 270 straight ahead till that dogleg right kicks around those trees on the right side. That pine sticking up next to the cart path, that's where it turns right. You got about 270 straight ahead, plenty of room before that water. There's your line on 17. Here's a look at the approach shot on 17 coming in. A little water right in front of you, about 125 yards out. Lots of room to miss around this green, no bunkers to worry about, just water in between you and that green. So miss long, miss left, miss right, but just don't miss short. There's your look. Here's a look at the green on 17, about a 22 yarder back to front, pretty short back to front, but a little wider than the rest of the greens. This one moves pretty flat, but left to right overall. It just wants to come straight across this direction. So here's a look at your 17 green. Okay, hole 18, a 411 yard par 4, straight out toward the cart path. Cuts back left a little bit, but plenty of room. Lay down that drive and then work in left. Trees and a big net on your right side, trees all along this fairway on the left, pretty much where your line is. Here's a look at your 18 fairway. All right, here's a look at the approach in on 18, about 170 out from this point. Not too much trouble around that green. You do have some water here on the right side, short, but you should be able to carry that going up to the green. Lots of room to miss around that green, front, left, back, and the sides. So full send, go right at it. All right, here's hole 18 green, 35 yarder back to front. This thing just moves right side to left and then back to front. Pretty straightforward. Very small green left to right. Just goes back deep. There's your look at your 18 green. Thanks for watching the Pecan Valley Golf Course video. This course seems like it'd be pretty easy based on the layout and how short it is, even from the blue tees, which are their tips, which I think plays at around 6,500 yards. It was pretty challenging. Sorry, I've got congestion. I got fall allergies pretty bad. It was very grassy ragweed out there. But the course was pretty tough. Even though it's pretty wide open, no real bunkers to deal with. Everything was pretty tight. The fairways were tight, the par threes were long. A little bit of water to deal with. Luckily that never came into play for me, but lost a lot of strokes on the rough area. In the rough, it plays pretty deep. The greens are small, so it seems like every approach I was short side, long side. Just couldn't find the green today. But you can see in the video where around the green, the rough is pretty deep. And I'm not going to say it's super deep like split rail, but it's deep enough to where you've got to dig it out a little bit. The ball is somewhat covered with the grass, but the biggest challenge today was the tight fairways and the trees along the tight fairways. That reminded me more of cross timbers, where the trees were in play, somewhere like a sugar tree golf course too. You just got to really focus on your tee shot to get yourself a clear shot coming in. Seems like once you're on the fairway, the shot coming in would be fairly easy, but again, the greens are so small, you got to thread a needle. But a lot of these holes, what was also challenging, a lot of these holes you really couldn't hit driver, and that's just, someone who, I don't carry the ball too far, but even a driver in my situation from the tips on this course would put you in trouble, either put you in the trees or run you off the fairway into some trouble, either in tall weeds or grass, or having to take a drop because you have to move it from behind a tree. So the course looks easy on paper, but it's pretty challenging compared to the other courses that I've played. For a Fort Worth Municipal course, I mean, it played like a Fort Worth Municipal course. Some of the bunkers were pretty beat up. Some of the greens were challenging in a couple of areas on the green, but overall it was fine. $40 green fee. Here we are at the 1st of September in 25, and $40 is the green fee and the cart. So very low price. Pace of play was great. No issues there. It's a fun time to just go out there and play on that course and not expect a whole lot. But it's not easy as it looks. So get out there and give it a shot. See you next time.